Series this morning and see what happens. I want to thank you for your prayer. Janine is still in Adelaide, and we buried our niece yesterday, and it was a great celebration service of the goodness of God. She had an aneurysm when she was in grade 12, and for the last 13 years she had 8 brain surgeries, and so Janine's sister has been caring for her in a very particular way, and Karen's husband would go after work at night and sit in the hospital, and Karen would look after her during the day. And in fact, her local doctor, Karen's local doctor, was so impressed with the amount of information and expertise that Karen developed over those 13 years that she said, "You're basically already a endocrinologist yourself. All you need to do is the course because you're an expert in a whole range of areas." And so we just need to pray for that family. And the church blessed them yesterday. And it's really interesting, 8 brain surgeries. And one of the good things, the mercy of God, is because the very first brain surgery she had short-term memory, and as a teenager she didn't go into depression because she couldn't remember what happened yesterday. So in one sense it's a really good thing. But on brain surgery number 4, they brought her out of the surgery, and this girl is a Christian girl, and she plays worship music all the time, and in fact just before she passed away, all of the nurses that looked after her knew the words of the worship songs and were singing it while they looked after her because they heard the song so many times. So, and about operation number 4, they brought her out of surgery, and again, they're trying to, all these cysts are growing and so forth. She was blind, but she could hear. And she had this habit of, when the nurses and doctors would come in, they'd say, "How are you doing this morning?" And she wouldn't answer. She would just simply go, "How are you doing?" And all the nurses and doctors went, And so she had this habit of conversation and sharing the love of God. And then she would say, "Can I give you a hug?" To every nurse, every doctor that came in, there was a hug going on until she was satisfied that the hug was finished. Great girl. Anyway, so on the 4th surgery, we were told, this was new information, and she came in and they said, and the nurse was wiring her up, and she'd be she would come to in about 48 hours. Her head all bandaged up and everything. And the pastor and Don, who is Karen's husband, they would come in to visit after they were pacing all night, came into the room, and she arrived in the room. And there was a nurse there, and she was just plugging in all the machinery and everything, and she said, "Oh, one of you are a priest." And the pastor said, "Oh, well, not really a priest, but yes, him over there." And she said, "I was just wondering, I've got to go to a christening, and I'm just wondering what I should buy." And and Rachel opened her eyes and says, "Buy a Bible." And went and closed her eyes again, and all 3 of them just went, and just looked at her, and then the conversation went on for a little bit longer because they were really embarrassed. They didn't know what just happened there, and she tried to start the conversation again after that uncomfortable whatever just happened. I think I'll have to buy something. And she opened her eyes again and said, "I said buy a Bible." And then she slept for the next 28 hours, went out for the next 48 hours. So, there are these miracles that happen that are unexpected, and God's good. What do you reckon? Yeah. So it was a great funeral, and thank you for all of those that sent flowers and everything. I really appreciate that. Okay, doing this series called Relational Zombies. How many people, can I ask you a couple of questions here this morning? How many people do you find it difficult to love some people? Okay, that's what we're talking about over the next few weeks, and so hopefully we'll be able to, it's relational vampires. What does a vampire do in the movies? A vampire sucks the life out of you, and sometimes we have relationships just like that, don't we? and they just suck the life out of you. And so today I want to talk about how do we love people who are a little bit controlling. Okay, so just lift up your hand if, just raise your hand. Do you know someone who's a bit of a control freak? Okay. Oh, okay, you do. Okay, someone sitting right beside you is trying to pull your hand down. Okay, and they're trying to control you. Okay, so we all know. And actually, I was going through this message and finding out some conditions. I'm thinking, Paul, that's you. Okay, I was just reading this and thinking, oh, Anyway, for example, maybe someone gets angry if like a controlling person gets angry if you don't follow their advice. Sometimes, and they tell you what to do, or they walk away from their responsibilities to make you feel bad. So that's a controlling person. Or they want you to behave in a certain way, and then if you don't do it, they make you feel guilty. Okay? Okay? And they don't understand why you see things differently. Okay? And if you disagree with them, they might call you silly or stupid, okay? And often, with a controlling person, often you've got to walk around on eggshells around them, okay? Because you don't know what's going to happen, okay? The thing is, we might recognise controlling people around us, but it's harder to recognise if you... Come on, you're one of them yourself, okay? But, okay, how about a quiz? Let me ask you this one. Come on, I want you to vote on this. Who always wants to be in the driving seat? Okay, don't put your hand down. No, what about if you see someone's hair out of place? Do you have that temptation to correct it? Your kids, okay. Okay, let me ask ladies. After someone has stacked your dishwasher, how many people restack it? Okay, gentlemen, I shouldn't say it like that way. How many people who sit in the passenger seat like to tell you where to park, where to go, what speed to do? Well, lift up your hands if that's you. There's a lot of, okay. We'll have prayer at the end of the service. I'm running out of the building. We'll raise the topic. Okay, it's dangerous. Okay. So now, come on. Emotionally controlling people, they can be in your family, people you love, and you might be thinking of someone right now, and so don't point. Okay. So how do we love people who try to control us? And I think that's a really good question. So let's build a foundation. And how do we take control? Now, there are weapons that controllers use, and they are threats, and I want you to write that down, threats and guilt. Okay, they're the two things, threats and guilt. And I want to look at how do those sort of threats manifest in your life. And they can be said forcefully, and they can also be subtle, a controlling person. And again, our topic is how do I love this person who's over-controlling. Okay, and for example, a statement like, a very strong statement is, like, you'll pay for this. Or if you don't love me, or maybe your boyfriend, girlfriend, if you don't have sex with me, I'm out of here. That's a threat, okay? And that's a controlling person. Or you're going to be fired or demoted. So controlling people use this sort of language. And the result is you end up living on this edge. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to be said next, okay? And, use guilt. After all I've done for you. And this is the way you pay me back. Okay, those sort of phrases. Or, I thought, aren't you a Christian? What sort of Christian are you? Okay? Those sort of guilty, make you feel really, really bad. Like, you never called. I could have 3 weeks ago. Okay? Manipulation. Okay, got it. So threats and guilt. Okay. So the question is, here we go. How love people who are over the next few people who are overcritical, hypocritical. 16:21. It's Jesus and Peter, and all of his disciples. God's going to happen. Is imminent. That he's God and the scribes them, and on the third day I'll be resurrected again. And all the disciples were very upset when Jesus mentions this. He's explaining, this is the Father's will, this is why I came. Peter takes control. And what he does is he pulls. They isolate you. And never have to you. Okay. Now, you are a you okay. And get Jesus turns I want to share with us. What you are Jesus was called and then and what he knows, and time again, Jesus would comfort those who are his mission with the disciples. And trade it will be raised, and whosoever shall call upon my name shall be saved. He's explaining this to the disciples, and that's when Peter interrupts. Very important part of what Jesus is trying to communicate to all the disciples. Control the situation. Okay? So how do we every situation. And but I am called to love my wife, perform the gift in my mind as a teaching gift, okay? And that's the reason why particular season at the moment is wife Janine